Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hey. Hey, Emily.
Hello.
How is everybody?
Hello.
Good.
Good. It is so nice to see your faces. I just want to scroll through and at the very least look at your names. If I can't see your faces, I want to look at your names. I feel like we need some music. Kimber, do we need music?
I was just like looking up something.
Carrie.
Here we are at the KWT meeting, yos. We got class, we got style, we're ready for this. We're ready to sell. Let's figure out how to shift, yo.
Exactly what we have. All of those things.
That background is like the highlight of my day.
Yeah, Carrie, just keep talking so that it makes it bigger on my screen.
Yeah, really.
These are my people, I love them.
Wait, do what you were doing this morning where the tiger is drinking water.
Oh my God.
Out of control.
Okay. We're not going to do music, but that's okay. I'm going to play a video. I played it for the staff this morning, but I'm going to play it for you too. Are you down? It's 1 minute. Can we handle it? Okay. Well, people are getting on. Let's just do this.
Hard happens, and
Oh,
we're captured by something difficult.
Stop.
When
Okay.
So sorry.
something hard happens, and we're captured by something difficult, our emotions get the first crack at making sense of something. A bad look, a hard phone call, a disagreement at work. We think that we're rational beings. We think that cognition is going to carry us through and make sense of it, but it doesn't. Emotions driving, thought and behavior are not even in the front seat riding shotgun. They're not even in the back seat. Thought and behavior in the trunk going, hey, and emotions driving. So the first thing we do is we tell ourselves a story that reduces ambiguity about what happened. So, oh, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not good enough to be here. Oh, in my fake story about you, I did something that pissed him off. I said something wrong. I didn't do something right. Men and women who have the greatest capacity for rising strong, in the moment something happens, they hack into that neurobiological process of making up a story. They stop and say, wait a minute, what's actually going on here? What am I feeling? What do I know for sure? Because what is a story? There's a name in research for a story that has 1 or 2 limited data points, and we fill in the rest with fear. It's called a conspiracy.
Ooh, who's a conspiracy person? Who tells stories to yourself about what's really happening? Right? Yes, I do too. And it's easy to just get caught up in our head of what's going on, especially with so many emotional things happening at this moment, that it's just even a minute-to-minute kind of thing. And I just loved that of how we tell ourselves fake stories, which is really a conspiracy, right? What did that make you think of? Share with me your thoughts. I just need just one person.
Well,
It
usually
reminds
these
me of,
stories,
you go first.
the stories that we tell ourselves, just like she said, are negative, and they can paralyze us when the reality is completely different. So we can't let our perception paralyze us when it's not fact.
Love it.
Amen, soul sister.
What were you going to say?
It reminds me of a quote that Michelle Obama said in Becoming, in the book that you gave me. It says, failure is a feeling long before it becomes an actual result. It's vulnerability that breeds with self-doubt and then is escalated, often deliberately, by fear. Like, it's just,
Yeah.
failure is a feeling, it's not a thing, right? So I don't know. It kind of reminded me of that.
I love it. Thanks. I'm trying to see if our guy is on yet.
Emily, I was just going to share that something that has helped me with that whole concept is to stop judging things. It's the judgment that brings on the stories and the past and the fear of failure. Just don't judge it. Just let it go, let it pass through, and move on to the positive.
Exactly. And give yourself a minute to recognize it, right? Like, allow it to come in. It's okay. Like, okay, I'm feeling this, and validate it. It's all right. And then what we do with that next isn't easy, but it can be a choice, right? I don't know. It's hard. It's a really hard thing. I do know that. Thanks. Any other thoughts? I'm waiting for Kimber, I think our video guy is having troubles getting on. Okay, I'm gonna share the screen and let's get going. I'm excited about what we have to talk about today. And I would love, love, love for your feedback, interaction. If you wanna do, message us if that's easier, or please speak up. We would love to hear what you have to say. It all helps us. Oh gosh, what is happening in my life? Okay, so we've got, I don't know, he just texted me. He's having a hard time getting on. I'm gonna send him the link really quick. I'm sorry, this is real time. This is what we're dealing with this minute. So I'm highlighting this. We're gonna do every week, we're gonna highlight somebody who is a vendor of ours. It's different. It's different now that we're not all together. So I wanted to highlight Darren. He's going to get on in just a second and talk to us about what he's doing. I know that the video and Matterport, we've been talking a lot about how we can do virtual open houses and virtual showings. And he does a beautiful, beautiful job with the video that he does. So he's somebody that Kevin Moss uses exclusively on video. He's been doing it for a long time. And these kinds of things help people to quickly be able to see something, see the property, and be a little bit more interested if they don't necessarily want to go out and see everything. Are you on, Darren? I just resent him the link. Shoot. So when he gets on, we'll come back to him, but I want you to have his email address and his phone number right here, his website rather. He's got pictures of video. His pricing is really good. And it's awesome what he does right now. So that's an option for you. And then, oh, Darren!
I have the right link.
Hi, I'm sorry.
Thanks for sending me the right one.
Sorry.
No worries.
Lots of links going on. Okay, Darren, we were just talking about how video is really important right now, and maybe you want to kind of share a couple things with us.
Yes, I don't know what's been talked about, but I come from the news business, 20 years of telling stories on the evening news. I was at KUTV and KSL, and I decided to start my own thing. So I tell stories about people, places, and things, and I shoot real estate. Coming from the news business, I can tell any story, any way that you want to advertise or market who you are and what you do. I can help with that with anything. So it's not just real estate tours, but it's also telling your story about what you do, profile videos, shooting promos, inviting people to open houses, all that kind of that selfie video that that people will do, I can do and make it look professional and make it look broadcast TV quality. If I can share my screen, you cannot share screen with another, okay. I don't know if it'll let me share my screen. There we go, no. I just have all these little boxes. Let's see, what do you guys see right now?
Sand Hill.
Okay, so hopefully this is it here. Do you see a video? Start of a video?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
So.
Welcome to 8745 Lookout Lane. The real estate market is still open.
Hi, this is Brian Burrows with Equity Real Estate.
Welcome to Ivory Homes. I'm Jenny Bunn.
Okay. So that's one of my quick promos. Things like this open house promo.
Hi, this is Brian Burrows with Equity Real Estate. I'm here at 7252 West Sydney Circle in Magna. I'd love to see you guys come on out to our open house from 11 to 3 this Saturday.
I do those for free if you do a video home tour. We can also do promos like I did for a group out of Jackson, Wyoming. So if you can dream it, I can shoot it. If you can dream it up, I can shoot it. My specialty is the home tours with the Steadicam gimbal. Then I throw microphones on and put you on or not, and we do it with music. You can do the home tours, whatever you guys would like to do.
Darren, are those Emmys in the background?
They are. I have 17 of those things.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
what I got from my news world. So
cool.
Nice.
So yeah, so that's my I guess that'd be my master's program in television broadcasting, right?
So what would something like shooting a typical house like the one in Magna or Taylorsville, wherever that was, shooting like a typical video home tour, can you give us an idea of the cost for something like that?
So the cost for that would be $250. My costs across the board are $250.
Okay.
It's based on how long I'm there. So with that gimbal walkthrough, and I can walk through it and I can do it in under an hour, $250. If it's a really big home and we want the camera slider, and more to it, then I'm $400 or $500. Home builders are $500. Real estate agents, you guys turn houses so quickly that it's $250, but a home builder is going to use that video for a year, 2 years, 3 years.
For marketing, yeah.
Yeah, and so I charge them more, $500. If you do a profile agent video, they sit about $1,200 to $1,500. If I'm just shooting for a day, and then editing and putting together the video, about 12 to 15. If there's multiple days, then it just gets stacked up, for a day rate.
Awesome. Does anybody have any questions for Darren? The imagery is beautiful on those.
Thank you.
Emily, you going to throw his contact information to us?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll give that. Is it the best way to give it to you, Emily, and then?
Yep. Yeah, I'll send it out to with the recap. We'll send it with his information on here. He's got tons of video and stuff on his website too, so you can go in and see. There's some really beautiful things on there. Yeah,
and I sent my YouTube link. My YouTube link has pretty much everything I've done, and it's very current. My website isn't as current just because switching things up takes a lot longer there, and I can just upload stuff to YouTube. So.
Yeah, I will definitely get that out there. Thank you so much, Darren. We appreciate it a lot.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so let's go. Let's keep going, should we? Rich, what you got for us?
All right. Normally you put me a little bit later in the show, but
Oh.
all right. I guess I wanted to talk about keeping your clout in a transaction. So oftentimes when a file is escalated to the broker, it's because too often, too early in the transaction, people fought over silly things, and now the agent's tired of working with this agent and wants to let it go. So one example that I like to use is the response time. So on the response time, we know that to accept the offer, it's typically a 5:00 p.m. response time. That's not a counter offer time, nor is that a rejection time. We know we don't have to respond by that time unless we're going to accept it. However, multiple schools teach that you do have to counter that time. And so what I would recommend is if somebody's asking you to do something and it doesn't hurt your fiduciary to your client or the transaction, go ahead and do it. That way, when something does come up, either in the inspection or you need an extension or something, you know, you haven't fought over every single item. Let's see. I don't want this to be just a lecture, but let's see. A few things that I feel like can help keep your clout with other agents is when you're showing homes. Now that everyone has that showing time, when you leave a house on showing time, you can just mark that you're leaving the home. So if you did an hour window and you showed up in that first 15 minutes, if you mark that, it's notifying them that they can move in or go back in. The multiple offers, if you have, let's say you've written an offer and you're in a backup position, the questions come up, can I write other offers? Absolutely. You can write as many offers as you want if you're in a backup position. So any questions that anyone has right now that would be a good question for the group? Okay, I'll end with one more suggested form with all of the COVID. An addendum that I don't see very many agents use, but when I personally do transactions, I almost put it in every transaction, is the flexible settlement addendum. The reason I like this form is if I have a home that I'm selling for a seller, I can put a flexible settlement of roughly a month, and that way when we go under contract, the home that we are buying, we've already agreed to when that date will be, and it just makes it a whole lot easier to keep your clients in the home and only have to make the move once. So I encourage you to look over that addendum. If you have questions on it, just give me a call. There you go, Emily. I guess it was short and sweet. No one had questions.
Well, they're just gonna text you later. Anything else for Rich right now? He's gonna be on and help us. Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen again. Eden, it's you, girl. What'd you find out?
Yes, hi. Well, I need to share my screen, so we're gonna switch. Okay, so I don't know if you guys know, but KW has a service called Keller Covered. It's kind of what I've learned. It's like the kayak for insurance, so it's really cool. But if you guys go to kellercovered.com/agent assets, and I'll put that in the chat. But this is what your Keller Cover portal looks like. And right here, they have a landing page that's already created for you. So all you have to do is click on create your landing page, copy your link, and then send it to your clients. But right now, obviously, we're having a lot of conversation of how we can save money and provide value to our people. And I think this is one killer way that you can do it. Here's what the website looks like. So if they just click on save up to 30% when you shop now, they can go through and it gives them, I don't know, 15, 20 different insurance options. But because this syncs up with your account, this is also giving you leads put into your command portal. So I think this would also be a great option for you guys to do a paid ad through command to promote your Keller Covered account. So I would recommend that you guys go on there, again, kellercover.com/agent assets, and just do a quick shop for your own insurance. It seriously is so fast. Like, you can be done with the application in 3 minutes. So just one quick thing, you know, to provide to your clients, give them good value. I think it's pretty killer. So you guys have any questions? Okay, that's it.
Sweet. It's a good way to provide additional value and help people keep their costs down and think about some of those things. Thanks. Okay, so let's talk about March. We had a big March, and a lot of people did a lot of dang business in March. So quickly looking at, Eden, will you monitor the chat while I'm going through so I don't miss anything? Okay. Yes. So here are the numbers of Keller Williams International, kind of where we were. In closed units month over month, so from February to March, they were up 6%. And year to date, year over year, up 8%, which is awesome in closed units. Closed volume, the volume still, we're still seeing the increase of prices across the nation. We're still showing up in March, which was a 12.5 over the previous month and 14.2 increase for year to date. And then this is good information to share with people because it's easy to just get trapped into the dramatic story of the day. And so this is good information to share. So I'll send out the slides and everything so you can copy and paste some of these things. And then on listings taken, KWRI were up just 2.5%, down 1% year to date. Listings sold up 5.3 and up 7.9. So fewer listings were being taken, but more were being sold, which tells us a story, right? That story's changing though. And the big thing that's going to change that story is the contracts written. That's what's going to determine what we can anticipate over the next couple of months. So contracts written still were up. Nationwide, 5.4% month over month and 5.3 year to date. And closed GCI was up quite a bit. So you can see this closed volume number and this closed GCI number is pretty close. So those closely relate to each other, right? Because we get paid off of volume. So let's see how this compares to our office numbers. So our closed units were up quite a bit, 8.1%, which is awesome, and 7.5 year to date. Our closed volume was also up. You can see it. Some of these numbers that have to do with volume are a little bit skewed because we have a couple of agents that do big volume deals, like hotels, things like that. And so sometimes that can skew our numbers a little bit here. But the listings taken, we were up from last year, month over month and year. So up from February and also up from where we were last year. These are the numbers right here that we need to watch really closely. March was a little bit weird. There was a lot of business that we closed, big business closed. Earthquakes, pandemics, things like that. It definitely took its toll, particularly in the contracts written right here. We were down 26% of month over month. So from February to March, down 26%. Still up 15% for the year though. So we're just caught in that time right now of not knowing exactly where this is going to take us. So we track these numbers very closely, which will help. Our closed GCI is also up, which is good, which is more money for you. Any questions about this? It's important that you do your green sheets and put that information in. That's the only way that we know what's happening. We pull the listings taken every week so we can make sure that we've got that, but it's a way for us to predict business of what's happening and be able to report out accurate numbers. So that helps us a lot. Okay, so we had, like I said, we had a lot of really big things. One thing that I wanted to make sure and point out is our profit share is up by 476% of what we shared in March of 2019, what we shared in 2020. And I don't know if you guys saw the Inman article. There was an article that said that Keller Williams was not paying out profit share, that we were packing our expenses to not pay out profit share. And that's actually not true. We pay a percentage of our, it's close to 50% of the profit every single month, no matter what happens in the market. And so we were able to get to this number of sharing $11,000 even by taking some additional expenses that will help us to be able to profit share also in March and also in April and May and June. So it's something that we follow very, very closely to make sure that we're balancing our expenses to profit, to make sure we're profit sharing every month. So it's $11,000. That's today is the day that profit share is paid out. $11,500. Isn't that amazing? Do you hear that? Tim's excited. He probably doesn't even know what I was talking about. Okay. And then here we go. This is where we're at. A lot, like I said, so much going on here. The listings taken for individual, we've got them listed here from Jared Hansen at 5 units, David Earnhardt at 4 units, Tyler, Amy, Jason, Scott, John Robinson, Ryan Poole. Awesome, awesome, awesome for March, these listings taken. And then we've got all on the team part, Dwayne, Jill, David, Ryan Pettit, Brian Hurd. We'll send this out so you can all see this of how much is going on, how much business is happening right now. Contracts written individual. Who wants to pass out when you see Jared Hansen, 16 units? Isn't that crazy? That is crazy. And
Wow.
Ryan Poole at 5 and David Earnhardt at 5, it just goes, it's awesome, awesome. So we'll make sure that you guys see this of what's going on with all this business happening. And then on the team also 6.35 units for Dwayne, 6 units for Dave Weiser, 5.6 for Heather Roxburgh. It's awesome. So much going on. Oh, Tim's on here. Great job. Okay, and then on contracts closed, we had Jared Hansen close 12 units. It's quiet. I'm the only one cheering, but I know you're all cheering at your houses. And then Scott Hardy at 5 units, Ryan Poole at 5 units, David Earnhardt at 5 units. This is just awesome. It's so exciting to see all this. Dwayne closed 6.35, David Weiser closed 6 units, Heather closed 5.6, Donnie 5.3, Ryan Pettit 5.25, Candace and Nate over 4, almost 5. It's awesome, super exciting stuff. And share it. Let people know that there is awesome activity happening in our office. And then we have these people capped. Congratulations, cappers. You guys are 100% commission. What is going on with my screen? You guys, I'm not on it today. Jeff Farrell, Emily Hayes, Jason Judd, Andrew Kent, Robin Moore, Donnie Rains. Congrats, capped. Good job.
I think, is that Jeff's first time capping? Their first time?
Woo! Standing ovation.
And he celebrated with a trip to the Alps. Does he still have a background? Yeah.
Oh, I was like, we're not.
His background.
Okay, good job. This category here, we're calling the home run. It's if you have a listing, you've written a contract and a closing in the same month. Look how many agents. We had a lot of business happening in March, which is awesome. Congrats, everybody. Good job. And then Jared Hansen and Marie Paul, they had their first closings with us in March. Actually, they both had multiple. Marie had a bunch and Jared had a bunch too. So good job, everybody. And then first listings rather. And then first closings, we had Aubrey, Braden, Melissa, Christian, Joel, Rhonda, Mike Watts, Justin Williams, and Zach Zander. Closing with us. And then our Crimson Club winners here, and this is, again, just to remind you, this is a combination of contracts written, listings taken, and closings. and we combined them for that Crimson Club winner. So in our third place for the individual was Ryan Poole at 13 units, $5.4 million worth of real estate in March. David Earnhardt at 14 units at 5.3. And then we had and I'll show you who the individual was. And then in the team, we had Wow House at 5 units for the month of March, which is awesome. World Shakers, Lacey, 5 units, 1.1 million. And then I'll show you who that winner is. And then on the group, the Wiser Real Estate team had 19 units, 6.2 million. Dwayne and his team D2D had 22.5 units. And then I'll show you who the group winner is. That is a lot of real estate happening. So our winner, Jared Hansen for the individual, 33 combined units of real estate in March.
For yourself. Hey Jared, how do you still have hair? Like for real?
It's going
You got good hair. That's a lot of business. That's a lot of hard work, and it's going to show. It's going to continue to show up, which is just super exciting. That's awesome, awesome. And then, so congrats to you. And then for our team, we've got Candace and Nate at 13 units, 6.3 million. I keep hearing that keep saying that they're sold out, and then they don't have stuff happening. And then, come on, Candace, you guys are killing it. Good job. And then we've got our top group for March was South Valley proper at 31 units, $16.7 million worth of volume for these good-looking people here. Good job, everybody. Nice work. So we'll share this on social media. Be sure to congratulate them. And for everybody that did all of the business in March, it was awesome. Okay, Kimber. This is our YouTube channel.
Awesome. Yes, this is. You should subscribe. Our goal is to get to 100 by, I'm setting the goal right now. By the end of the month, let's do it. There's 230 of us. We can do it. Okay, so go subscribe. Are we talking about website?
Yeah. Yep.
Cool. Okay. Do you have that graphic for that, or am I just going to kind of talk about it?
Just talk about it.
Okay. So I emailed you guys a graphic of things that I need to set up your website. So this is really cool because if you send me those like 5 things, then I'm going to set it up for you. So I will send it out again, but just take me up on that, then you don't have to do it. And I'll set up a page for your clients to download your app, a bio page, and then a review page as well. So all of the reviews that you've received from your clients, people will be able to go through and see all your reviews. And then obviously the main part about that is that they can search for homes on your website. That's the reason why you have the website, but a couple of those things are going to be customized to you. And you won't have to do anything other than send me the email.
Sweet. Thanks, Kimber.
You're welcome.
Okay, so we've got next week is the Facebook advertising in command.
This Thursday.
This Thursday, I'm sorry, on the 23rd, yes. And that's going to be a really important thing. We have something exciting that we're working on for all of our agents where we're doing a stimulus package for you. And part of that stimulus package of what we're going to provide for is going to include Facebook ads that we're going to pay for you, for every single one of you. So we're getting that together now. So getting in on Thursday, joining this group will be important. So you have an understanding of what you want to do and how you want to do that. And just familiarize yourself with what options are for that. So we'll make sure and send the link out again, but we'd love to see you on that on Thursday. Here is what's going on with KWRI, the different classes and stuff that they have going. We send this out also. I just want to make sure. I know there's so much going on. Just wanted to keep reminding you of what is available for you to engage in. If you're not doing, at least one kind of mindset sort of Zoom or training a week, I really encourage you to do that. It helps a lot. So here are some options. And then the bold is happening. This is also a part of our stimulus. We are going to pay for every single person to do bold. If you want to do bold, we'll pay for it. If you've paid for it, we'll reimburse you. So I'm going to send that all out today, but we really feel like we want to help stimulate your business. And the lineup of what they're doing with this is so awesome, and I just want everybody to have an opportunity. So we're going to provide this for every single one of you and hope that you will take advantage of it. Fun, right? So it starts in May 5th, and it's just 2 hours a day for 4 weeks, and it's all virtual, and the top best of the best is going to be doing that. So I'm really excited about being able to provide that for you. Any questions about that? Okay, and then I wanted to remind you that in April and May, MAPS Coaching is doing 50% off if you're a current client. If you aren't coached yet, they're going to do free coaching until May, so I can help you if you have questions on that. All right, Brock, let's come to you. He's got some really good insight of some other notes and things like that that's happening in the market. We definitely know that there is some sort of a shift happening. We're just navigating of what exactly that means at the moment, and take it away, Brock.
Cool. So were you going to share that slide? Do we want to do that? This one here. Do you just want to scroll through this?
Yeah, you tell me when to go to the next.
Okay, cool. So hi, everybody. This is a quick little slide. I got it from the coaching program that I'm in, but it's a really cool set of data points that we can share with our clients to likely give them more confidence and talk them off the ledge of comparing this to 2008, because frankly, basically every home buyer, every person really has 2008 fresh in their mind, and what they feel like is going to happen with an economic downturn like we're dealing with is a complete real estate crash. So these are some data points that will kind of battle that idea and frankly prove it wrong, and give a lot of confidence as to why this likely won't be as impactful in the real estate market as the previous crash was. So you can go to the next slide. Okay, so thing number one is showing you appreciation leading up to the crash. So this was 6 years leading up to the crash. And the reason you see that this only goes through 2005 and not 2008 is because in contrast, we're actually not in any crash. We're just talking about the idea of people fearing that we're headed towards a crash. So this shows you the years leading up had appreciation. I mean, honestly, on a grand scale, like double the appreciation each year compared to the most recent 6 years. And this is on a national level. Of course, Utah's a little different, but I think national data is telling. So that's one big thing. We've been much more stable, not so much of a hockey stick effect of appreciation in home prices. So that's one positive thing. We're in more of a stable environment from appreciation. Next, this is a huge one. And I mean, honestly, I think the most important, what this is showing is this is an index that's tracking the availability of mortgage credit. So how many mortgage loans are being given to borrowers, and how it takes into account all of the criteria. So like marginal credit people, or are we documenting assets and income, that type of thing. It takes all of that into account. But you look here, this peak of 868.7 in June of, it looks like June of 06 or so, like maybe later in the year of 06, is at 900. And then at the end, when we all went into panic mode and there were no loans available seemingly back like, 08 to 2010, you can see we're barely over kind of what we felt was no mortgage credit availability back in the day, because there was such a swift change to more responsible lending. But we're pretty much at the lowest point. So it means that we're lending very responsibly. And also, as the previous slide, we're taming appreciation, likely because of this, honestly, because we're not lending at ridiculous levels. So that's another big important thing. Probably the most important is lending is very responsible still.
So I have a question on that. So with what we're hearing with VA and FHA and jumbo, do you anticipate those restrictions are going to affect this?
Yeah, I think it already has. That's why I think you see that downward tick actually at the end of this graph. I think they're kind of representing that already because, like, most importantly, Alt A products like bank statement loans and one day out of foreclosure and those types of things are pretty much gone. So that's going to make it more difficult. But I mean, honestly, those were, I think we all tried to get those deals done, but the terms were so bad and the required down payments were so significant that it wasn't very often that we got those deals done anyway. So I don't think it's really impactful for the overall production. As for FHA and VA, I think we are pretty much out of the woods on those concerns. Those concerns were due to the way servicers were obligated to making the payments on government loans. And not to digress too much, but the short of it is on government loans, servicers up until last week or maybe the week before that, late the previous week, servicers were obligated to making payments to Ginnie Mae, which is the agency that is over VA and FHA loans. They were obligated to making their payments to to Ginnie Mae, regardless of if the client with the FHA or VA loan made their payment to the servicer. So the servicer just acts as a middleman and takes an override basically on providing that service. But Ginnie Mae, came out and announced that they were switching it to align with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac's method of collecting payments, which is if the client makes a payment, then the servicer owes a payment. If the client doesn't make a payment, the servicer doesn't owe a payment. So that was why government loans went haywire for a couple of weeks, but that's pretty much averted at this point.
It's really important that you have a lender who's really up on these kinds of things because people are paying attention to a lot more than they maybe were before, and their homes are their biggest asset for the majority of people. And so these kinds of things are freaking people out. So make sure that you have the correct information and what you're sharing is super up to date.
Yeah, and it's moving so fast, you definitely need to, like daily,
Yeah.
So slide 3, we all are pretty aware of this one, but inventory back in the days of, you can see the spike back in like 06, when things started to lead up to getting really bad. You can see the spike of inventory that led to our crash, and we're pretty clearly not anywhere near that now. And I think we're seeing that even today, despite the pandemic. I'm seeing tons of my clients go in and have to compete with multiple offers and offer over asking price. And so we're still dealing with seller's market behavior, and you can see we're kind of on like a downward trend. So we're not seeing that hockey stick effect. And I don't think we will see that, considering the appreciation has been pretty stable. We're not seeing 12, 13% appreciation, which is likely the cause of that. Yeah, Clint, we are going to share this afterwards.
Yeah, we'll make sure that everybody has this.
Now, this is a huge one. Back to the more responsible lending. And a lot of this, the government has actually restricted a lot of this, which is positive, and a proactive approach to keeping housing more stable than the last time. So thankfully, we did learn from history, because essentially all programs, with the exception of VA, are capped at 80% loan to value on cash out. But what this is showing is how much cash people were taking out of the equities in their homes in 2005, 6, and 7 versus 17, 18, and 19. And you can see it's like a quarter of the liquidity being pulled out of real estate. So that keeps the wealth in real estate and keeps clients more incentivized to maintain their mortgages, keep the banking system in good health, which ultimately keeps lending in good health, which ultimately keeps real estate wheels turning. So this is a really good component people aren't just like robbing the banks of money with fake appraisals, so on and so forth.
Well, and doing, getting a HELOC or something like that could really be a smart option for people if they're in a situation that their job may, I don't know. This morning, my sister got furloughed. She's an executive at Boise State. She's been there for 20 years.
Wow.
And so you just never know what's going to happen. So it's good to be smart. Remember, we're going to hope for the best, and we're going to put ourselves in the best situation possible to make sure the best can happen. And we're also going to prepare for the worst. So there's a difference between taking all their money out, what was happening back in, 6, 7, and 8, as people were taking that money and they were buying, being straw buyers for other houses, and they were just
they were playing roulette with real estate, really.
Where there's a difference between that and maybe getting a HELOC to have some sort of comfort, security, if it's something that they need. And that's more of what we're seeing, people that are pulling out those HELOCs. It's more for security. It's not pulling it to completely dump 100% of it into something else.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, that is a saving grace that we have to protect the consumers that are ultimately fueling the economy. They have tons of equity. So, I mean, I encourage you, we've said this a bunch of times over the past few weeks, but I encourage all of you guys with clients, tell them to get proactive in looking at liquidating their equity or getting access to it, whether it be through a HELOC or, I mean, honestly, with where rates are at, it's probably better to do cash out refinance and then maybe a HELOC as well. But the reason that's important is, just like Emily, you said, your sister got laid off, totally unexpected. Well, we're going to continue seeing that. I mean, unfortunately, we're not at the end yet, and you never know when it's going to happen. So getting ahead of that, like, she can't go get a loan. I mean, unless of course her spouse has a job that would allow them to qualify, but some people can't go get a loan after they've been laid off. So they don't have the access to the equity or the funds, and we'll dive into it here in a moment, but that leads into a better protection than possibly this forbearance that the government has honored as well. Okay, so point number 5, it kind of plays on what we just looked at. People aren't taking equity out. So if you look here, all homes in America on an average have 50% equity. So like there's more than 50% equity in all of the real estate sitting in the US right now, which is absolutely crazy. I mean, it's like, this goes to the point of, we are in a much more healthy position. People aren't financing, 80-20 purchases with stated income, where they literally can't make their payments. People have significant wealth tied up in their real estate. They're highly incentivized to continue keeping them, keeping the payments up. And they also aren't over obligated because of the lending habits we've instilled, since 2008, really, 12 years. It's been really prudent lending for the most part. And even if we have some of that Alt-A stuff, like the bank statement financing and some of the more flexible things, most of that was actually done pretty prudently as well, because people had to put 20% or 25% down payment. So anyway, that's the spiel, and I think a lot of positive information to dispute the argument that your clients may have sitting on the fence that we're leading into another crash. I mean, I think right now with where rates are at, it might be one of the best times, if not the best time. Time will tell, but maybe the best time to ever invest in real estate,
Any questions, any thoughts about this? I definitely think it's so good to hear some good news and have some good information to share. At the same time, we know that we're in a shift. There's a big difference between a shift and a crash, right? So we're definitely shifting. Things are different. Certain things are probably not ever going to be the same. And that's okay. So our ability to adapt at this moment will help us. Getting good information out to people and helping them understand these things is really critical. And sharing accurate information also. Anybody have any thoughts? Okay, thanks, Brock.
Did you go over interest rates right now today? What are they like?
Yeah, so of course that's a loaded question, but generally speaking, for almost every client, rates are ranging anywhere from 2.75 to maybe 3.5, depending on the criteria. So it's
Crazy.
almost a certainty they'll be under 3.5, 30-year fixed.
It's crazy, crazy.
Yeah. Up until now, the lowest I ever locked rates, really, without somebody buying it down a lot, was 3.25. And we've locked multiple under 3 over the past week or so.
Awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'll email out these slides too, so everybody has them, so you can get it out to your people also. We'll make sure that you get that. Thanks, Brock. It's super,
Yeah.
super helpful.
For sure.
Okay, so I want to do a quick update on COVID, what's happening. I know they're letting up some of the stuff next week. We don't know exactly what that is. We might hear some stuff today. It's also, a lot of this stuff is county specific, so we've got to be really careful about watching what's happening specifically in our area. We've got a couple of people that are in the office, that are working in the office, but we're still doors closed, being really particular about who we let in. We can't have groups gathering. Got to make sure you're 6 feet apart from each other. Those things are going to last for a while. So we're a couple months probably where some of these things are still in place. There's never been a ban on open houses, so you can do open houses. You just have to have these same sort of rules apply, where you have to have, you can't have large groups in a house at a time. So if you're going to do an open house, a majority of people aren't going to want to physically go to an open house right now anyway, but if you do decide to do that, you've got to make sure that you're monitoring the groups that are coming in, being really careful and cautious, and make sure that your clients know the pros and cons and kind of how you've laid it out to protect them. You cannot go door knocking. So I did check into that. You can't go door to door. That came down from the health department, not from Governor Herbert or Salt Lake County. So for right now, we can't go door to door yet. I don't know if that's going to be lifted next week or not, but as of this moment, the health department says no door to door sales. Any questions on that? I know that's something that's come up. There's up-to-date information on here. If you go to the National Association of Realtors, the CDC, the Salt Lake Board has done a phenomenal job at keeping us updated of what's going on. So follow them on Facebook. Check out their website. We monitor it, quite a bit as well. Does anybody have any thoughts or questions about this? Nope. Rich, do you have anything to add to it? Nope, we're good? Okay. Okay, so then again, just reminding you about the CARES Benefit Act, of what's going on, different options that are there for you and for your clients. They're running out of some of these funds. There's going to be a second wave of them coming. We just don't know when that will be. I also wanted to note that if you've got a client that is maybe having some troubles on loans, and we were talking about this on Facebook yesterday or someday, about the possibility of doing a loan forbearance or something like that. There are some really good programs out there. I would definitely have them talk to somebody like Brock before they just call their lender. Because sometimes there are some companies that if you just call your lender and say, hey, I want to look into a loan forbearance, which who knows what that is? What does that mean? Brock, do you want to explain that? Are you still on? Hi, Brock. Is he gone? A loan forbearance. Who wants to explain that? I was talking to an agent yesterday who's been an agent for 20 years and didn't know what that was. And that's okay. That's fine. I want somebody else to explain. Anybody? Loan forbearance, do you know what it is?
I do. It's
Okay.
Patria.
Thanks.
Loan forbearance is, I was in the crash in 2006 in Las Vegas. It was 2 years earlier in Las Vegas than it was in Utah. And so a lot of clients did forbearances, and essentially what they do is, as long as you're approved and you apply for it, they take the payments that you're going to skip and they add them to the end of your loan.
And that could be a really good benefit. That could help a client if they really need that. The problem is, though, it can affect your credit. There's all kinds of things. And some lenders, if you even call and ask about it, they put you into a category of, oh, I'm holding you. here, and that it may not be positive. So have them talk to an actual lender about it and what their options are before they just go directly to the bank, because it could cause a problem for them too. But there are some good programs out there.
Yeah, and so if you do a forbearance and then decide you want to refinance, sometimes it excludes you from being able to refinance.
Yes, so you got to be careful with that. Okay, we only have a few minutes left, and I want to go through this shifting stuff and give you some tools, and again, just to identify things that are out there for you, get them at your forefront. They're on the outfront.kw.com. That's the Keller magazine. It's so good, and you can access it online, and there's some really good information on there talking about industry trends, what's happening, how to host a virtual open house, high impact virtual meeting, land the listing remotely. There's videos, there's a whole bunch of different tools for you to use for any of these things, and how to do digital meetings, how to get backgrounds. There's a lot of really cool backgrounds. If you don't want to see your cute 6-year-old who's not dressed yet come into the background to give you a kiss during a meeting, then you can put a background that helps that. And then there's so many really, really good pivot shift helps. And this one in particular that I want to show you today, there's video scripts. I mean,
hi, Julie, just a minute. I'm on a meeting. Oh, sorry. Sorry about that.
Hi, Patria.
Sorry about that. Let me mute it.
Okay.
That's exactly.
And from top agents on how to save a deal, and they're really specific. I have this deal that I'm trying to figure out. I have this client that's in this situation, so there's some really specific scenarios that you can go through in there. And then also there's the Facebook group, the book club. I mean, so many awesome tools with the best of the best. This right here, the PIVOT Playbook, just barely came out. Has anybody seen this or looked at it yet? It's Gary Keller's update on the Shift book. It's real time what is happening right now. It's only 30 pages. I'm gonna open this and share part of it with you. So if you go, hold on a second.
I'm posting the link to get it right here, just so you know.
Okay, I have it right here, sorry. I'm sorry, it got closed. 1 second. Okay, I got it right here. Okay. You guys still love me even though I'm not smooth today, right? Do you still love me? I love you. Okay, here it is, the PIVOT Playbook. And I just want to scroll through to kind of give you just these really awesome step-by-step helps that they have here. It goes through 4 principles of a shift, and even we know that there is some sort of a shift and there's going to be some sort of economic shift. There are a lot of people that are losing their jobs right now, and people filing for unemployment, and there are a lot of things going on. And so we need to watch that. We need to strengthen our understanding. We need to strengthen our processes. We need to make sure that we're focusing on the right things. And in here, it goes very specifically through what you can do and how you can prepare yourself. So this quote right here, I want to read really quick. It says, shift happens, and when it does, you must shift with it. You need to pivot quickly. If you don't take action, you're literally turning your business into a game of chance, and there's no reason to do that. Make no mistake, you will need to pivot. You will need to pivot today. Every shift leaves an opening, a reason to stay in the market. Every problem eventually presents a solution, a way to help someone when they need it most. Today isn't yesterday, and tomorrow isn't determined. When the desire to do more comes from a place that's bigger than ourselves, anything is possible. Potential can become reality. When we pivot, we help others pivot, and together we all have the opportunity to achieve more. So we've got 8 different focuses and different tools that we can go through here. I'm going to send you this link for this as well. It's a really good read. I'm just gonna point out the top ones. The first is to be safe, be strong. And it specifically talks about what we're going through with the pandemic, of what's happening and how we should conduct ourselves. A very positive thing is to just, let's not stop people. Let's go forward. Let's be smart and safe, but let's not be the ones to stop people. Let's let that happen on their own, right? And the next one is to be lean and leveraged, to make sure that we have appropriate people lined up to help us, the tools lined up to help us. We got to be connected. We got to be digital. So if you need help with that, if you need to get more information, more ways to be connected, we're here to help you with that. We've got to be creative, competitive. We have to understand what's going on. We need to know the market and how we can adapt some of our processes. So in here, make your care calls. Give some specific examples of things that you can say. We've got to make a mental shift. That remember that it's about every small step that we make, even mentally, it's going to help us at the end of the game of what we're trying to accomplish. Don't let how you feel about this situation dictate what you will do about it. When you're dealing with less, you must do more. This isn't a choice, it's an imperative. So let's focus on what we can control, guard our mindset, don't listen to the news all day. What's coming into your brain? Celebrate the wins, find a community, remember why we're doing all of this and why it's important. This is something that we can do right now. Look at your expenses. Where are you with your expenses? What can you change? What can you modify? Look at any investments that you have in terms of what you're paying out for lead generation. You got to make sure that you can really definitely track your ROI on that, and that gives you some really good information on how you can do that. And then here are some options of what you can do to enhance your expense management. Every dollar that you save we're going to treat that as if it's something that we've earned, and what to do with that. Tech is a big expense, and so it's something to look at. What are you spending on different tech things? Building these relationships. Connect with compassion. I love that one. A true care call of, hi, how are you doing? What's going on? How's your family? How's school going for you? Goes a really long way and is really important. Your marketing needs to be up to date. What's the message that you're sending? If everybody's in one room on social media, what are you saying? If everybody you know is in one room, what's that message? What are you putting out there? This is a way to find people that are motivated. Who's responding to you? Watch who's watching you. See what things they may need. And a way that you can also support your community with the message that you're sending out there. Master your skills. Make sure there's an awesome tool I'm going to also include in the email that is a spreadsheet that helps you to identify your value proposition, creating that. Why is it that somebody needs to be with you specifically, and helping put that on paper. It's hard to say those things about ourselves, but there's a guided step that can help through that and in a way that is client-centered, that helps attach to your skill set to how that's a benefit to them. And then this is how we convert. We're going to innovate, go specific through open houses, what you can do before, during, after, to make it a big success. Virtual consults, buyers and sellers. This one's really awesome. It goes through bulletproofing the transaction, and there's a checklist you can click here that will say, okay, how can you really prepare ahead of time to make sure that this transaction is bulletproof. Handle objections. It's got video and a whole bunch of really cool things, again, for specific situations on what you can do, and really front load that and prepare yourself. This is a time that we're setting up our business for the future. Every single effort that we make right now is going to help determine where we are at the end of this. If it's in 90 days, if it's in 10 years, it's not going to be in 10 years. If it's in 5 minutes, if it's on May 1st, whatever it is, wherever you are on the scale, that this is the Great Depression or it's made up, wherever you are on that scale, the efforts that you make at this very moment is going to determine where you are, how far ahead or how far behind you are at the end of it. Stay focused. I love this, where it goes through and talks about how to be really efficient with your time, how to manage that with other people in your home. If you have other people there, how you can keep your mental, your emotional energy high, get outside, take breaks, how you can work alongside your significant other. Does anybody else have somebody working at home with them? The whole fam is in the house. It's kind of nuts, right? And making sure that you're really thinking about those relationships as well, and that we're separating out our lives to some degree. And being realistic, balancing the duties. You guys, I'm almost done. Are you okay? Watching the market of the moment. Be alert, be smart, getting your information from the appropriate places. And also be alert for, think about who you have as you're going through and reaching out to people. Think about people who, this may be an amazing opportunity for them to invest. Keep focused on that, and different opportunities will present themselves that you can connect for other people. Stay alert for opportunities for sellers. Who's out there that this could be a good thing for them? This may be the perfect time where the interest rates are crazy. Who's been waiting for an opportunity like this? And then be the economist of your choice. If you go into this pivot portal, there is so much information, and you just access it through Connect, KW Connect, and there's all of this information right here on educating yourself. It's in there. It goes through and talks about distressed properties, what you want to look out for with that. And even we have distressed properties no matter the market, but it helps you to identify, those go really quickly, so how you can identify and be ahead of that. It talks about your people. Who do you have? Who should you have? Where are your holes? There still may be a spot for you to add somebody to help you with things to make you be as efficient as possible. And that's something that we would love to help you with, in identifying when the time is, who you need to hire, where you can find them, those sort of things. And this shows where you're going to find them. This is also a really good list right here of different lead sources, reaching out to attorneys that you know, bankers that you know, people that you know, who needs you, who needs information, who needs your help right now. And really, that's the end of that. And again, I'll send the link to it, but just you got to get your head right. You got to plan out your day. You got to stick to a plan. Make connections, commit every day. Make a certain number of connections. Do your care calls, I want to know what's going on out there. How are you? How can I help you? Commit to that. And planting the seeds going forward, being steady every single day is what's going to determine where we're going to be. Does anybody have any questions or thoughts? Okay, well, good. It's good to see you. I'm glad you're all here, and just continue to go forward. I'm going to send out an email today that has the stimulus package that we've got for you laid out. There's quite a few things that we're going to do for you. We're excited. We've been working on this for a while, and we really want to help you keep your business going and keep your energy high. Good? Okay.
Thanks, Emily. Great meeting.
Guys, have a great day.
Thank you. Bye. Love you guys.
Bye. Love you. Bye.